ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् संदधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति Shanti. Dear friends and devotees, we are fortunate to have Swami Ishadhyanananda ji today to address us on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, its unique greatness. Swami Ishadhyanananda had come on invitation to the Vivekananda Vedanta Center in Connecticut. And then just on the way, he thought he can look at us a bit. So thus we got this additional benefit. Thank you very much, Swamiji. Ishadhyanananda ji joined the order in 2002. See, I joined in 1976. So imagine, the age difference.
I was not born.
Yeah, yeah. So see, and he came to United States after serving in the centers at Belgharia, a wonderful students' home center which has produced many stalwart Swamis of our order. He joined there, worked there for some years, and then was an important part of our headquarters setup. So from there he was sent to United States. Which year? 2017, when he was just about 36 years old, Yeah, see, again the difference. I came here when I was 48. So, and then some years ago he gave a very nice retreat also here. We are, again, I express happiness and gratefulness to him for giving us this important talk on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. On Tuesdays we speak about Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. First he suggested that, tell me where you stop, and then from there I will begin. So I said that will be a bit cumbersome. So it is better if you give an independent talk on the Gospel. So he agreed, and thus we have him here right now. Over to Swami Ishadhyanananda ji.
Let's start with a chanting which all of us know. Sahana Bhavatu. Okay, let's do it together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the all-pervading Spirit protect us. May the all-pervading Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great enthusiasm. May our study be fruitful. May love and harmony dwell among us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. My reverential pranams to Swami Yogatmananda ji for kindly allowing me to come here on my way back to Sacramento from Connecticut and giving me this opportunity to share some ideas with you. Why I asked him, when he said about this class, I asked him where should I start with? Why? Why did I ask that? Because I have never given any talk or class on gospel. So I was totally clueless what to do about it. It is an irony because I left my home with only one possession, one shirt and pant and gospel. That is what I left my home with. Actually, I ran away from my home with that only possession. And that is the book that I have been reading every day for the last at least 23 years or 24 years. But it never happened that I had to give any class on gospel. So when he asked me, so that's why I thought how to proceed. So let me do one thing. Where he stops, from there I will start. Then he said, no, you talk generally, how gospel, how Master Mahashaya Mahendranath Gupta came, how gospel is important in my life, our life. I said, all right, Maharaj. So, gospel, about gospel. I was thinking this afternoon that we have a devotee in Sacramento, Anna. She told me her husband, late husband, Paul, he, from Canada, he came to New York City many years ago with the hope of being a writer, to write the great American novel. And he tried, but it did not work. His all dreams were shattered. And then his life went downhill. It is not anymore private because she has written publicly about it. That's why I am sharing with you. Even Paul became addicted to substances. And he was like a mad, crazy person walking in the streets of New York City. And he was clueless what to do with his life. He was already an atheist and had no other goal in life, what to do. And suddenly one day, in a library in New York City, he found the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He started reading. In 7 days, he finished the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And then he found that it was published from our New York East Side Center, and he went there. And this changed his life. He again became sober, completed his PhD, went on to become a professor. He wrote many books, and he used to teach spirituality and psychology in Canada. Later on, he settled in US and married Anna. And Anna's life also changed through Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. There are so many stories all of us know. In fact, all of us are testimony to the facts that how the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna have changed our life, have transformed our life. So that was, I was thinking that unique greatness of how to put the unique greatness of gospel in a cogent way. So I had some random ideas. I just needed something to wrap those ideas around about gospel. Or you may think about, I had some flowers about gospel. I needed a string to make it a garland. So suddenly it occurred to me that one verse from Vivek Chudamani came to my mind. And the verse is about what the great people are like, the real teachers or really illumined people are like. The verse says, it is in the beginning of the Vivek Chudamani, after stating how many sufferings we have to go through in our life. And then the teacher speaks about the way out. And the verse says, there are some people, don't be afraid, my dear. There are some great people. They are calm, vast, expansive, and they are good people, and they keep on helping others, changing our others' life like spring. Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santo Basantabat Loka Hitam Charanta. There are some people who are Shanta, calm. Then Mahanto, they are vast, expansive, generous. And Nivasanti Santo. Santo, these good people, Nivasanti, they are. The earth has, from time to time, such people around who, Basantavat, like the season spring, Loka Hitam Charanta, they keep on doing good to others. Then I thought, let me wrap my thoughts around this verse. Shanta, that calmness, gospel. We can replace the person with this text, gospel. There are some books like Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, which brings peace, calmness in our mind, which are expansive, and which are good book, which keeps on changing our life imperceptibly, like the season, spring. So let's go a little deep into that. All of these ideas are already known to you, just I am putting in a different format. Shanta, peace. So whenever we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, undoubtedly it brings peace to our mind. Soon after my joining, I had to have some medical complications. And I had to be admitted to a hospital, had to go through a surgery, and I had to stay in the hospital for a few days. And I was 22 at that time, and I was restless, look, what to do in the hospital all that day. And there were books, magazines, newspaper, nothing was giving me peace of mind, I was still feeling restless. One senior Swamiji told me, whenever you have restlessness in mind, or some suffering, physical suffering, which you cannot do anything about, or some mental suffering, some agony you are going through, one book you remember, Gospel. You read Gospel every day, all right, but during those periods, you will see that there is only one book that you can keep on reading continuously. And that is the book that will give you peace. Indeed, all of us know that when we read Gospel, we find a kind of peace, a calmness. In other books also, it's not that all the other books agitate us, and makes us, restless if we read other books, But gospel has something special. Either we read in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, there is such a joy and peace and calmness that comes from reading the gospel. And also, I have seen this personally, that those who read gospel, think about gospel every day for a long period of time, one thing I have seen in them, noticed in them, they are usually peaceful people. They are much more satisfied people. There is sense of contentment on those people. Why? Why is it so? My take on this is that peace comes from usually by simplifying our lives and understanding that how many of our desires and so-called needs or wants are superfluous. We don't need them. Once we simplify our life and cut down many of our needs, peace is what follows. If we look at the source of our unrest or lack of peace, we'll find there are always some needs and wants and some desires to be fulfilled, something to be achieved. So in different forms, desires are showing up, which are the cause of our unrest or lack of peace. What happens, I believe, that when we read gospel, gradually, without our knowledge, unconsciously, we appreciate the simplicity of our life, the simple life. Rather, nowadays they call minimalism, a new philosophy, way of life, minimalism. That is, cut down and be happy with whatever the bare minimum things we need. I think that if we read gospel every day, without our own knowledge, we start appreciating a simple life. Because we see day after day that Sri Ramakrishna in his small room with bare minimum possessions, how happy and peaceful he is all the time. In fact, I was thinking once that in gospel almost at every page we get laughter. all laugh. I was thinking in today's terminology we'll say that LOL, all laughing out loud. Every page we find people laughing out loud. Sometimes ROFL, rolling on the floor, laughing. These are the SMS, these short jargons. So we try seeing that Sri Ramakrishna, a very simple life, but he is so happy, he's beaming with joy and peace. I believe that has an effect on our mind. We also start appreciating a simple life, a life where we don't have to fulfill or run after fulfilling too many desires. We can be peaceful and find joy and contentment even with minimum things. Only thing is keeping our mind at higher levels. That we see in the gospel. That although physically, if a Westerner say in time travels, he goes to the Kineshwar and goes into Sri Ramakrishna's house, room. You're surprised. It is less than Spartan. Spartan is probably even better. It is so bare minimum, but such a person is having such joy. And why? All the time, mind is at a higher level. Mind at a higher level. So simple living, high thinking. That's what we find in gospel. And when we read gospel every day for many years, this impresses our mind. This impression comes to our mind that to be really happy, to be really joyous and content, we need a simple living but high thinking. So that is why gospel is a source of peace, shanta, joy. Then gospel is mahanto. Mahanto means vast. Mahan, from there mahanto. Vast, expansive, generous, not restricting, liberal. So many connotations of the word mahanto, and all of them can be applied to gospel. That gospel is a place where, look at even from the perspective of religions, Sri Ramakrishna is never condemning any religion. All inclusive, nothing is exclusive there. It is liberal, generous, vast, so such a big space that everybody is accommodated. And we see that can one read gospel every day and still be dogmatic about one religion? Cannot be. You cannot. You may start reading gospel with one being a dogmatic, some follower of some path, but after reading gospel a few times, I don't think we can still remain dogmatic about it. A few days ago, Swami Sarvapriyananda visited us, so I asked him, have you ever taken a driverless car ride? He said, no. I said, would you like to? He said, yeah, sure. I said, I have taken a few times, safe, I can take you to. So in Waymo, I took him to Salesforce Park. It's another landmark in San Francisco, a park which is on the air, 6-acre park. So to show him both, I took him from Market Street to Salesforce Park in Waymo. And when we went to Salesforce Park, he asked me, what is this Salesforce, this company? What does it do? Actually, I also did not know much. So vaguely I remember that it's a workflow management software, Slack or something like that. That's what their product is. Then he said, have you heard about Monday.com? Another product, like alternative to Slack's workflow management software. I said, yeah, I have seen a few times their ad on YouTube. He said the founder of Monday.com is from Israel, a young guy from Israel, and he met Swami Sarvapriyananda, and he said he has read so far Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna 10 times. 10 times. He's a young guy of 36 or 37. So Swami Sarvapriyananda asked the founder of Monday.com, why 10 times? He said, I kept on reading it until my dogmatism. Every sentence should be hammered. That's why we should keep on reading to become religiously broad-minded. Mahanto, every religion. Even we know the traditional paths. If you look at traditional non-dualist Advaita followers, Jnanat eva moksha, they will say from the practice of Jnana Yoga alone, all the solutions can come. Others are preliminaries. Other paths are preliminaries. And staunch devotees will then criticize non-dualism. Staunch devotees, they say, Buddhism speaks about zero, and non-dualism speak about one. So it's a progress. We talk about God and I too. It's best. Buddhism zero, non-dualism one, and Dvaita Bhakta is two. Best. So such things. So different paths. We find that in gospel, Sri Ramakrishna seamlessly moving from bhakti to jnana to karma to meditation. Not only he is talking about them seamlessly, but also we see practicing them. Right now he is singing a song, devotional song. Next moment he is in deep meditation. After some time he is talking about non-dualism. After some time he speaks about karma yoga. So seamlessly all of these things are, we find a symphony, a synthesis in gospel. It is vast, expansive, mahanta. Then different types of people, different types of spiritual seekers, we find all of them are welcome to Sri Ramakrishna's small room. All of them. And he is talking with everybody with in equally friendly way. Equally friendly way, as if he is in one with them. When he is talking to someone from Brahma, as if he has become a Brahma. When he speaks with someone from Christian background, as if he has become a Christian, devotee, non-dualist, whatever. He immediately can strike a note of friendship with everybody. So different types of people. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example that, different children of the same household, they like different types of fish. Not only different, another important thing is digesting also. Not only liking that I like this, but what I can digest. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna, we see that depending upon the person, seeker, he is giving appropriate type of advices, appropriate type of practices. So that is also expansive. So when we read gospel, not once of course, when we read a few times and think about it, naturally our heart also becomes expansive, mahanta, mahanta. And not only spiritual seekers, we find in Sri Ramakrishna's room deputy magistrates, doctors, scientists, non-believers, atheists, and people from the walk of drama, from entertainment world. All of them we find in Sri Ramakrishna's gospel. And Sri Ramakrishna is accepting everybody, every type of people. So although it's a scripture, but see, in that also we find Sri Ramakrishna dealing with so-called so much worldly people. Some of the people used to come to Sri Ramakrishna so that they can build networking, what we call now like networking, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a networking place where we come to know about each other, and so that you can recommend me, I can recommend you. And many people used to come. Some people used to come to Dakshineshwar to do networking, nothing to do with religion, because they saw that many big shots were coming to Sri Ramakrishna. Influential people were coming to Sri Ramakrishna. If we can come and hang out there with them, probably we'll get some benefits. Sri Ramakrishna, all right. Some, after office, getting tired, coming to Sri Ramakrishna and sleeping on the floor. Sri Ramakrishna is talking spiritual topics and someone is sleeping. Sri Ramakrishna says, let him sleep. At least let him sleep here peacefully. Don't disturb. So, look, not only spiritual seekers, people of all walks of life are welcome. So heart is expansive heart. Gospel is expansive. And when we read such a gospel, our heart also expands. Our heart also becomes expansive. Then, gospel is such a book it not only talks about our spiritual life, but Sri Ramakrishna talks so much about practical things also. Practical things. How to, for example, Girish Chandra Ghosh, after being heavily drunk, high, being high on alcohol, he comes to Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna, at the first time thing he says, keep the bottle safe. Because when he will get back, he will ask the bottle again. Very practical thing, you know. Where will I get bottle from? Keep the alcohol bottle safe so that when he comes back again, we don't have to look for a bottle. Or how to deal with different types of people. Sri Ramakrishna says some people are, very egoistic people, narcissistic, we may say. And when such people come, don't try to argue with them. No argument will do. You just try to appease them. Yes, uncle, sit here. He says, Esho khuro tamak khao. In Bengali, khuro means uncle. To please the uncle, they are offering hubble bubble. Come, sit here. Here is tobacco. That is our way of telling that you are welcome here. Nowadays, of course, the way of welcoming is giving the Wi-Fi password. At that time, it was offering hubble bubble. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when such a person comes, when you see such a person, don't try to argue with them. And rather, keep a safe distance and try to appease them. That's what you see, practical things. Then, one incident about practicality, it is so insightful, so much insightful. In one of the celebrations of the Brahmos in 1883, on 2nd March, I believe, 2nd March 1883, one of the Brahmo, Nandan Bagan is where is now ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, is where Nandan Bagan. There they had a Brahmo celebration and they invited Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna went with a few other devotees and Swami Brahmananda. At that time he was Rakhal. So he went there and the service was over and they were waiting for food, dinner, but nobody was asking them, inviting, calling them or for dinner. So Rakhal, Swami Brahmananda, he comes from a wealthy family. His father was landlord. So definitely he got very angry, annoyed. He said, let's go, nobody is calling us. Let's leave the place. Sri Ramakrishna says, wait, don't be so foolish. At this hour, if we go back, who will feed us? It's night, already 9 at that time. If we go back to Dakshineshwar, who will feed us now? Moreover, we came with a carriage. Who will give the rent? Who will pay that rent to the carriage? Kind of, you came to a place, suppose, with Uber, and you kept the Uber waiting, and it was kind of understood that your host will feed you, then also pay the Uber bill. And now you are saying, oh, host is not calling us, let's go back. Sri Ramakrishna is saying, who will feed us? Who will pay the rent? So don't be so angry about it. Don't be little intelligent. Be practical. What he was telling is be practical. And then, of course, they went, they were not treated well, but Sri Ramakrishna somehow ate something, and Sri Ramakrishna said, go, ask for the money. We have to pay the carriage. Then they go, they even bargain. They don't pay the full. It was 3 rupee 2 annas, but they only paid 3 rupees. But anyway, at least The majority of that is paid. So practicality, Sri Ramakrishna told Holy Mother that we have to remember the context, the time. As is the time, so we have to. As is the person, as is the situation, we have to adapt. If we can't, then we cannot get peace of mind. So some of the times, situations or time is such, we don't like it and we try to escape it. But it's better to adapt to those timings, those people, those situations to maintain the peace of mind. Without peace of mind, spiritual practices don't yield any result. So, for the benefit of our spiritual practices, we have to adaptive. Those who are not adaptive, those who are rigid, you will see they suffer the most. Because whole world are not in our control. We want many things to be like, but the world is not like us. So things we cannot change, we have to adapt to. And that's kind of practical lesson we get from Sri Ramakrishna, from gospel. In that sense also, gospel is Mahanto. Vast, expansive. It not only teaches us the deepest of the secrets of spiritual life, the spiritual experiences a spiritual seeker goes through, we come to know from Sri Ramakrishna's mouth, for which we don't get at other places. Not only those spiritual truths, spiritual life, but also how to live gracefully, peacefully in this world, we learn from gospel. In that sense, also you may say, gospel is a Mahanto, is a expansive thing, a vast thing. And then the final thing I would like to say, Basantavat Lokahitam Charanta. So like a spring, when spring comes, as we know, all around we see again the green leaves, the birds are blooming into flowers, grass and wildflowers, everywhere coming up, because spring has arrived. So two things to be learned from this expression, Basantavat Loko Hitam Charanta, that spring comes not announcing, it comes imperceptibly. Suddenly we see around wildflowers and things, oh, spring is here, spring is on the air. So gospel changes us imperceptibly. Without our knowledge, gospel transforms us. If we look back in our life, gospel played a great role in transforming our life, in transforming our worldviews, transforming us in many ways we don't understand it. In that sense, it is Basantavat, came unannounced, but its effect is masked, but cannot be easily understood. It happens over time, gradually, unconsciously. Like spring, don't changes the atmosphere around, the garden around, announcing, I have come. It imperceptibly changes. So also gospel of Sri Ramakrishna changes us if we sincerely keep on reading it for a long period of time. And again, Basantavat, that is, spring does not want anything in return. Look, I have made so many flowers in our garden to bloom, so give me something in return. Gospel does not want anything in return. It is free. It is free. It is changing life for decades and decades and decades. So, and that's why we see many of our monks who were extremely scholarly monks, like Shuddhanandaji, when Vishuddhanandaji, and many other like presidents, Ranganathanji and others, who were scholar, good orator, real scholars on scriptures, at the end of their life, they settle into Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. They say, this is enough for us. Because whatever other scriptures are telling, essence of everything is in Gospel. Nothing more is needed actually. It is true that we can appreciate Gospel more if we know some basics of the other scriptures like Sankhya, a little bit of Vedanta, because references are there in Gospel, we can appreciate more. But even after knowing all of this, later on we find that Gospel is enough for our spiritual life. Gospel is enough. Gospel changes our life like spring. And that is what I would say, that whatever Shankaracharya speaks about a good teacher, an ideal teacher, those Shanta, Mahanta, Nivasanti Santo, Basanta Bat Loko Hitam Charanta. There are some people who are calm, peaceful, vast, expansive, generous, and they keep on changing people's life imperceptibly. All of them can be applied to Gospel equally. And if we make it a habit of reading every day at a certain time, then definitely we'll find peace in our life, we'll expand intellectually, psychologically, spiritually, we'll expand, we'll grow, and our life also will change. And there will be a beautiful garden, just as it happens in the spring. This is what I wanted to share. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Any questions?
Yes, please.
Pranam Maharaj. One question I have in Gospel, and some place Thakur was talking about that in Bengali it's force korte mana, means you can, you should not bite, but you can do the hissing, something like that. In English it comes up. So can you make little bit detail on that, means how practical it is in our daily life?
Yeah, in our day-to-day life, we come across different types of people, and all people are good, but there are some tendencies in people, like manipulative people. You know that they are manipulative. They are manipulating you day after day. So, will you let that person manipulate you forever? Sometime you have to keep a distance. So, that is, I will say, it's like hissing. It's not confronting the person, not going into a fight with the person, but not let that person manipulate me anymore. Okay. So creating a boundary, you may say, creating a boundary. That is what I believe is like. No, let them do whatever they do. I will keep. I will not say anything. It won't work, because the world is not like that. Otherwise, many people might take advantage of us. And sometimes we have to speak for truth or the values, my core values. If they are being, violated, you are randomly, I have told you these are my values, but you are trampling on my values. I have to stand erect, and I have to tell you, I have to forcefully tell you, no, this is your boundary, you cannot. I believe that is what Sri Ramakrishna meant, that you have to hiss sometime. You don't have to fight, or you don't have to have a negative. Huh? Don't bite. You don't have to bite. You don't have to fight with the person, but let them know here is a boundary. Here is a boundary. That boundary is important for both. For you, it is good. For that person, is also good.
So when you say bite means what is the in practical scenario? How you can say that? Means suppose I said somebody very scolding, very harsh scolding. Do you think it is a bite or it is hissing?
Yeah, I think we'll try not to scold. If we can, we'll try to create the boundary gently. But if it does not work, sometime one day we have to show without getting angry, without getting carried away by anger. We have to show as if we are very angry and tell them, look, you have crossed the boundary, no more. It works. I have seen it works. For example, I came across a bully, bully in a group. Every day he was bullying me in the breakfast. Then I found, no, it's all the typical characteristic of a bully. And this type of people, once you get back to them, then they will stop. So one day, purposefully, I became a little harsh. Without getting angry, it was pre-planned for me. From then on, stopped bullying. Not only me, around others. But biting would be to fight with him, to bully him, to argue with him. All of these will be disturbing the peace of my mind. Once I became, kind of harsh, purposefully, it worked. Later on, all the problem was gone. So that you can think of hissing. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Charlie. Yes, I was wondering if the gospel could also be viewed as being in the presence of the Master.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because I was reading recently Sister Nivedita in her book, Kali, on Kali, said that limitations, that in the presence of the Master, any limitation became as if wings on the feet of the person who was presence of the Master, was in the presence of the Master. So that if limitations become as wings on the feet of that person, would the gospel also, I'm asking your opinion, would the gospel also follow that same trend?
Yeah. Before that, you have to explain to me what does it mean, the limitation becomes wings.
Limitations become as if, the quote I think was, limitations of a person in the presence of the Master became as if wings on the feet of that person.
Yeah, I could not understand this meaning. What Sister Nivedita meant by this, I don't understand. If you can explain it to me, then probably.
Well,
What does it mean in plain language?
it means that your limitations are used or become.
Oh, my strength.
Their
My weakness
strength.
might become my
Yeah,
strength.
your weakness becomes your strength in His presence.
I'm not so sure about it, but at least what we find, Sri Ramakrishna in Gospel says again and again, that turn your, negative passions into positive by turning them towards God. So if we think about our negative passions as our weakness, weak points, Sri Ramakrishna says instead of trying to resist your or dwelling on your weak points, you can take advantage of all of them and turn towards God. Because even psychology, modern psychology, accepts the fact that even the negative, harmful patterns like anger, anxiety, all of them has great energy in them. We have to take the energy from that and not to be carried away by the negative frame. In that case, that energy can be used in our development. So I think that might help to some extent if we are aware of our weaknesses, and as Sri Ramakrishna guides us in the gospel, if we can turn those negative things towards God, they become wings. For example, Sri Ramakrishna says, if you are angry, be angry with God, that why am I not still able to see you? Is not it? If you have passion, desire, great desire, passion, so turn them to passion into God. That when can I have you? How fast can I have you? How intensely can I have you? That might help.
Hi, Swamiji. I had a question. I'm someone who's just starting out. I was kind of recently initiated, so I haven't read too much of the gospel on my own. I was wondering if you had any tips or any suggestions for someone just beginning to read it, or specific ways to read it, or what to look for.
Yes, there are so many ways. Everybody has their own way of reading. I have seen people reading gospel at 3 a.m. I have seen people reading gospel at 11 p.m. and all the time in between. But I believe that when we read gospel, we take it in a not in a way that we take a book and read something like that. We can appreciate the gospel based or get the best benefit of gospel if we try to be there, as if I have traveled in time machine and I am in Dakshineshwar. So what Sri Ramakrishna is telling, if we can imagine that I am also present there, it is then and there. In that case, the reading of gospel becomes lila dhyana, the meditation on the avatar's worldly life. So this itself is a great spiritual practice. In fact, among the Krishna Bhaktas, Vaishnavas, they say the highest practice is lila chintana or lila shravana, lila dhyana. Reading the life of God, meditating on different things that is happening in their life, this itself is the best spiritual practice. So when we read gospel, we should slow down. In plain language, we should slow down. It is not like any other book. If we slow down, try to enter the mood, or if possible, if we can situate ourselves into the context, time and the place, I think we will derive great benefit. And we also can think about that here is a tattva. Sri Ramakrishna is telling something, spiritual truths. Or is he talking about his spiritual experiences? Or is he talking about practical day-to-day life? Or is it just a pure humor sometimes? So if we try to find out all of these, then we become much more alert about and much more attentive, focused. We derive great benefit. Another thing about gospel is, even if you don't follow any of these, but keep on reading, gospel itself will teach us how to read gospel. Gospel is always so fresh. One aspect of Basanta, the spring, is as spring brings fresh, fresh flower. Every time gospel appears to be fresh. One nun from the Santa Barbara asked this question to Swami Prabhupada ji, the founder of the Hollywood Ashrama, that why gospel every time appears fresh. The same thing I read 3 years ago, and now it is appearing in a different light, fresh. Swami Prabhupada says something very wonderful. He said, gospel is such a book that it also changes your perspective. That is, it also changes the mind. So, if you have read gospel once, you must have undergone some changes in your mind, in your understanding. Now, with that insight, when you are reading the same passage, you are getting different meaning. It is appearing fresh, it is appearing so profound. All right, Maharaj?
Somebody might have asked question upstairs.
He said no. Adi Maharaj said no. Thank you so much.
What an illuminating extempore that we were privileged to hear just now. The wonderful ideas, life-giving ideas expressed in this treatise, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, have been very nicely put forth. How practical that book is. And as we learn, as we read, we grow. That is, and now from that grown-up situation we look at it. And so it always appears to be a very fresh book. It does not become old at all. It is, you might have read it 20 years ago, but when you read it now, it appears to be so nice and fresh, as if you are reading it for the first time. And I have been reading it for last more than 50 years. And still when I open the book, it appears to be, new, something that I had not read at all. Although the same passage I might have read so many times. So, this is a very important thing. Many people have their lives completely transformed by this wonderful book, because it is the words of the God appearing as man. God comes to us as a man, so that the divinity in us gets awakened. God becomes man so that man will become God. So we are all divine, but that divinity is kind of covered. Its manifestation is obstructed. So with a personage like Sri Ramakrishna, it awakens. The words of Sri Ramakrishna, they have appeared here, but they are called in a very beautiful Bengali song that you have appeared in the form of these words, Vani Rupe Mudhuriyacho Murati. So you have appeared in the form of these great words. So It is like Sri Ramakrishna coming to us in the form of these words. That is why they are so effective. To the level we receive it, we will get the impact of it. On behalf of you all, on behalf of Vedanta Society of Providence, I thank Swami Ishadhyanananda for this great, beautiful discourse. And thank you, friends, for coming to attend it. We shall now conclude with the closing prayer. Oh, that is not started today. Actually, it should have been started. But it is not. Oh, okay, it is coming up now. Okay, most of you will know it anyway. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest unto us, and all-consuming divine love, peace, peace, peace be unto all. As you know, coming Sunday, there will be Friday, Saturday programs also, but coming Sunday there is the day-long celebration of Durga Puja. So please try to come in person. There will be some portion of it available on YouTube online, but then YouTube hasn't become as rich as to give you the food prasad, you know. So therefore you have to come here in person. Thank you very much.